welcome back to our video. Before we get started, click that like button, turn notification, and give us a huge thumbs up.
I've made these toolboxes for our other trucks, but our other trucks have the fifth wheel in them, and so I could only get 2 drawers because we had to leave the center section open. They sell these online. I had to build mine custom to go around the fifth wheel so I could still haul my fifth wheel trailer for my forklifts and my bigger equipment. In the new truck, it's not set up for the fifth wheel, and I'm not gonna set it up. I'll keep this older truck for the big fifth wheel trailers. This one is just gonna be strictly for the guys and all the tools. Build a 3-drawer system, and that's what I wanted to show you today. How I build my own custom drawers. And I like to customize my drawers to fit my tools. That way everything has a place and I know where everything is. And then it's a lot easier to look in your toolbox and see what tools are missing. Make sure everything's put back every day. You know all your tools are in the truck and not left on the job site. That's what I like most about it, is the organization, and it makes it easier for my guys to keep up with my tools, and we're not losing them and they're saying that they can't find them because it's buried in the bottom of the toolbox under a bunch of other tools. The whole reason. And also, as we get older, it's hard to climb up in the back of this truck in and out every day as we work. Let's get started. And if you haven't already, or if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, give us a big thumbs up, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Today, we're gonna be showing you how to build a toolbox. But your tools are, if you're gonna work and you have your truck, you can build this toolbox and put it in, then you have your tools in the back of your truck. And make sure you close the tailgate so the tools won't come out. Subscribe to our channel.
Started with ripping me down some plywood, and I just went with 3/4 construction plywood. The reason I went with that is because it's a little more waterproof than this cabinet grade plywood or the soft sanded plywood. This thing is going to sit in the back of the truck, and it's going to have a lot of humidity or moisture in the air by riding back there all the time. It will be covered with metal later, so it will be weather protected, but if any moisture was to happen to get to the wood, construction plywood hold up to the weather elements a lot longer. I have not done any sanding on this whatsoever, because when this thing is finished with the metal, or actually this is the bottom and it's upside down, this will be facing the bed of the truck. The top will have a sheet of plywood, construction grade there again, and I will be covered with sheet metal, and the sheet metal will be the finished product, so none of this will ever be touched. The insides of it is just dividers where the drawers will slide in and out, so when the drawers are in there, this will not be exposed at all either. You will see the very end of it when you pull the drawer out. I will take some extra measures there for waterproofing. You'll see that in the end. No need for sanding, no need for roundovers. All of this will be hidden. For the rollers, the sliding mechanism for the drawers, as you can see, I have routed a 7/16 groove across the whole way in the middle of the box. And I'm going to do another groove here in the front, and then I'll cut out holes for each of the wheels. These wheels will protrude upwards of 1/4 inch above the floor of this bottom section. That way, when I have the drawers inserted, they will actually roll on top of these rollers. These rollers are garage door rollers, ordered off Amazon for about $1 a piece. And that's what these strips are for. These strips is going to be screwed and glued above the rod of this garage door shaft, this roller shaft, to hold it and pinch it between these strips and the bottom of the floor. Also elevating this floor off of the truck bed. It out to fit over that. These protrude just a little bit above the surface. So when we lock it down with our screws, that would pinch those bars to be tight. Keep these wheels from doing this right here. This shaft right here looks, it's about another good 3/32 thicker. So I'm going to route out a little section so that'll fit in. This router bit to make this groove. The shaft on these garage door rollers are 7/16, but I think with the 1/16 smaller in the groove than the shaft, I can beat it in with a hammer, and that will secure and keep it in place, and then clamp these strips on top of it to hold it, and we'll be in business. Slats on around the edges. This will kind of keep from debris or losing some tools up under the box. And we also got the slats holding the wheels in, which will also give it a little support. And then this will give us an air gap up under the box, so in case it rains or any water gets in the truck bed already has the holes to release the water that does get down in there. So over time this wood will dry out. We glued and screwed all the pieces of wood with Titebond Ultimate Wood Glue for exterior applications. And the squeeze out wiped off the edges. Any that squeezed out the back, I really didn't care about it because this will be on the bottom and probably never be seen again until it's thrown in the fire. We got our top on, and we went and got us some sheet metal. This being a 4-foot wide box, the widest metal I could get was 4 foot, so I had to put my sides lapped over my top. I didn't have no room to put a hem or anything on that top section, so I just used a flat sheet of metal. We had those side pieces folded on a brake, and because they cap on the top, I don't like that detail. I would rather the top roll over the side. That way I wouldn't ever even have to worry about water. But what I've done is I went back and I run a bead of caulk all the way around the edge where that side lips over the top, and then we're going back and putting rivets in it. And as you can see, I've cut all my metal and rolled it around the edges here in the front. I rolled that top piece up under, and then I rolled the side pieces around, and that's going to give that wood a little bit of water protection. These two center pieces, they'll be they'll be up under that, so I shouldn't have to worry about any water. They may get a little water there, but I'm going to take some zip tape and I'm going to tape those edges up just to get a little more waterproof rather than using some metal. It's not a very good detail of attaching that metal to the end of that wood without any nails, and nails are just a hole for it to leak, and a screw head is just too fat, because I've made my drawers really tight so they'll fit really snug and won't have no room for movement or getting sideways where they'll roll straight on those rollers. So now we've got our box built. We'll put it in the truck, get our drawers built, and continue on. We'll have us a toolbox. This box has no lid because the tailgate is going to actually be the lid. I've got a locking tailgate, so when we shut the tailgate and lock it, my tools are locked up. I don't have to worry about putting any kind of drawer front. And this box is going to fit tight, snug to the metal toolbox that I purchased or had left over from an older truck that I've got in the back of the truck, and then be pinched between there and the tailgate, and I won't have to worry about it moving around. And this thing is really heavy. Two of us picked it up, and we're struggling with it. I mean, not really struggling, but it's very heavy, so I'm not worried about it flying out of the truck. I won't attach it in any way. I'll just use the weight of the tools and the weight of the box to stay in the truck. Usually we're going to have something else in the back of that truck on top of it. We're going to have all those tools in it, so it's not going to flip up either whenever we pull the drawers out. If we pulled all three out at the same time, maybe that would happen, but I don't expect that to ever happen. Put some dados in the plywood as it was one piece, and then ripped it in half, and that's going to be my drawer sides. And then I got those dados that I can slip in and have different compartments if I need to. I'm gonna take a 1/2-inch sheet of plywood. This was 3/4 that I put my dados in for the sides. That would give the drawer a more rigid, rugged, more rigid frame. The bottom plywood is gonna be resting on those rollers. Weight-wise, there'll be weight in the box, but this drawer is only gonna be 14, 13 inches wide. So therefore, I believe a 1/2 inch will hold up. Give me a little more space in that drawer to add tools to. Drawer number 1 down. Clamped it here in the middle because we got a little bow in that plywood, and this is 63-inch long plywood sides, really strong up and down, but in and out. I may flex a little bit, so just overnight I glued the ends and screwed those. The ones in the middle is just kind of a brace. I cut it at the same time I did the ends, so it's the same size, just holding the box square. I'm gonna leave it there overnight. Come back, probably add a few dividers in there, figure out which tools I want and organize it the way I need it. I took a little bit of this hardwood and some 3/16 paneling board that I had. I glued 2 of them together, and then I just cut out these 3 arches, and that's gonna hold my gun. That's why I put the dados in the box, so I could slot it up, and then it would be kind of universal. I done some 5-inch slots, some 4-inch slots, 6-inch slots, and then I can maneuver it around to fit my needs. The best thing about a drawer, if I just left this box open, which a lot of guys would for a drawer, and then it ends up looking like the toolbox on the back of the truck. The whole purpose of these drawers is organization. It's smaller box, easy to reach when you walk up to the tailgate, let the tailgate down, pull your drawer out. But if you have to dig around to find your tools, then it's aggravating and you lose time with your guys. What I want to do is have a slot for everything, and everything can be reached from the top of the drawer and use as least amount of space as possible, but be able to access it and pull it out without having to move other tools to get to the one that you need. I'm going to divide this up where it can hold my screw guns, and then I'm going to have some storage in the back. We'll probably have our battery chargers in this box. I need to leave a space on top, but the bottom I want to put those dividers in there. That way I can just keep smaller stuff, keep it from rolling around. I'll know which divider it's in next time I look for it, rather than in the back of the box or up under this piece or that piece. We use drill bits, all different size bits, chisels, screwdrivers, pliers, just a lot of different tools, and then we could have a slot for each tool. And also we have a lot of hardware on our jobs, different screws. They end up in bags in the back of the truck that are open. They spill out by the time we get back to the shop, or they stay in the truck, get rained on. This way I can throw different screws that I like to keep handy. We use a lot of hammer drives, 1/4-inch hammer drives. We use a lot of wedge anchors on about every job that we do, and the manufacturer always shorts us. So when we do get extra, we throw them in the box, keep them in the truck. When we get to the next job, then we'll have them. Now I'm gonna have a space for them in my toolbox rather than wherever they could fit in the truck, or in a bucket, or in a cardboard box in the back of the truck. So now we got it loaded up with tools. And you know, as we watch the video, there's a lot more tools in here than what you can see right now. Double stack, just everything has a place.